Glossary to Part 1. The Voice of the Silence. 1. The Pali word iti is the synonym of the Sanskrit siddhis, or psychic faculties, the abnormal powers in man. There are two kinds of siddhis, one group which embraces the lower, coarse, psychic and mental energies. The other is one which extracts the highest training of spiritual powers. Says Krishna in Srimad Bhagavat, "He who is engaged in the performance of yoga, who has subdued his senses and who has concentrated his mind in me, Krishna. Such yogis, all the siddhis stand ready to serve." 2. The soundless voice, or the voice of the silence. Literally, perhaps, this would read, voice in the spiritual sound, as nada is the equivalent word in Sanskrit for the sensar term. 3. Tarana is the intense and perfect concentration of the mind upon some one interior object, accompanied by complete abstraction from everything pertaining to the external universe, or the world of the senses. 4. The Great Master is the term used by lanus or chelas to indicate one's higher self. It is the equivalent of the Avalokiteshvara, and the same as Adi Buddha with the Buddhist occultists, Atman the Self, the higher self with the Brahmins, and Christos with the ancient Gnostics. 5. Soul is used here for the human ego, or manas, that which is referred to in our occult septenary division as the human soul, vide in the Secret Doctrine, in contradistinction to spiritual and animal souls. 6. Mahamaya, great illusion, the objective universe. 7. Sakkayadati, delusion of personality. 8. Attavada, the heresy of the belief in soul, or rather in the separateness of soul, or self, from the one universal, infinite self. 9. The Tattvajnani is the knower or discriminator of the principles in nature and in man. And Atmajnani is the knower of Atman, or the universal one self. 10. Kalahamsa, the bird or swan, vide number 11, says the Nada Bindu Upanishad, Rig Veda, translated by the Kumbakonam Theosophical Society. The syllable A is considered to be its, the bird Hamsa's, right wing, U its left, M its tail, and the Artamatra, half meter, is said to be its head. 11. Eternity with the Orientals has quite another signification than it has with us. It stands generally for the 100 years, or age of Brahma, the duration of a kalpa, or a period of 4,320,000,000 years. 12. Says the same Nada Bindu, a yogi who bestrides the Hamsa, thus contemplates on Om, is not affected by karmic influences or crores of sins. 13. Give up the life of physical personality if you would live in spirit. 14. The three states of consciousness, which are Jagrat, the waking, Swapna, the dreaming, and Sushupti, the deep sleeping state. These three yogi conditions lead to the fourth, or 15, the Turiya, that beyond the dreamless state, the one above all, a state of high spiritual consciousness. 16. Some Sanskrit mystics locate 7 planes of being, the 7 spiritual lokas, or worlds within the body of Kalahamsa, the swan out of time and space, convertible into the swan in time, when it becomes Brahma, instead of Brahma, neuter. 17. the phenomenal world of senses and of terrestrial consciousness only. 18. The astral region, the psychic world of supersensuous perceptions and of deceptive sights, the world of mediums. It is the great astral serpent of Eliphas Levi. No blossom plucked in those regions has ever yet been brought down on earth without its serpent coiled around the stem. It is the world of the great illusion. 19. The region of the full spiritual consciousness, beyond which there is no longer danger for him who has reached it. 20. The initiate who leads the disciple through the knowledge given to him to his spiritual, or second, birth, is called the Father Guru, or Master. 21. Ajnana is ignorance, or non-wisdom, the opposite of knowledge, jnana. 22. Mara is in exoteric religions a demon, an asura, but in esoteric philosophy it is personified temptation through men's vices, and translated literally means that which kills the soul. It is represented as a king of the Maras, with a crown in which shines a jewel of such luster that it blinds those who look at it. This luster, referring of course to the fascination exercised by vice upon certain natures. 23. The inner chamber of the heart, called in Sanskrit Brahmapuri. The fiery power is Kundalini. 24. The power and the world mother are names given to Kundalini, one of the mystic yogi powers. It is buddhi, considered as an active instead of a passive principle, which it is generally when regarded only as the vehicle or casket of the Supreme Spirit, Atma. It is an electro-spiritual force, a creative power, which when aroused into action can as easily kill as it can create. 25. Keshara, or skywalker, or goer, as explained in the 6th. Atyaya of that king of mystic works the Tyanishvari. The body of the yogi becomes as one formed of the wind, as a cloud from which limbs have sprouted out, after which he, the yogi, beholds the things beyond the seas and stars. He hears the language of the devas and comprehends it, and perceives what is passing in the mind of the ant. 26. Veena is an Indian stringed instrument like a lute. 27. The 6 principles, meaning when the lower personality is destroyed and the inner individuality is merged into and lost in the 7th, or spirit. 28. The disciple is one with Brahma, or the Atman. 29. The astral form produced by the kamic principle, the Kamarupa, or body of desire. 30. Manasarupa. The first refers to the astral or personal self, the second to the individuality or the reincarnating ego, whose consciousness on our plane, or the lower manas, has to be paralyzed. 31. Kundalini is called the serpentine or the annular power on account of its spiral-like working or progress in the body of the ascetic, developing the power in himself. It is an electric, fiery occult or photic power, the great pristine force, which underlies all organic and inorganic matter. 32. This path is mentioned in all the mystic works. As Krishna says in the Tyanishvari, when this path is beheld, whether one sets out to the bloom of the east or to the chambers of the west, without moving, O holder of the bough, is the traveling in this road. In this path, to whatever place one would go, that place one's own self becomes. Thou art the path is said to the adept guru, and by the latter to the disciple after initiation. I am the way and the path, says another master. 33. Adeptship, the blossom of bodhisattva. 34. Tanha, the will to live, the fear of death and love for life, that force or energy which causes the rebirths. 35. These mystic sounds, or the melody heard by the ascetic at the beginning of his cycle of meditation called Anahad Shabd by the yogis. 36. This means that in the 6th stage of development, which in the occult system is Dharana, every sense as an individual faculty has to be killed or paralyzed on this plane, passing into and merging with the 7th sense, the most spiritual. 37. See number 3. 38. Every stage of development in Raja Yoga is symbolized by a geometrical figure. This one is the sacred triangle and precedes Dharana. The sacred triangle is the sign of the high chelas, while another kind of triangle is that of high initiates. It is the symbol I, discoursed upon by Buddha and used by him as a symbol of the embodied form of Tathagata when released from the 3 methods of the pregna. Once the preliminary and lower stages passed, the disciple sees no more the sacred triangle, but the abbreviation of the full septenary. Its true form is not given here, as it is almost sure to be pounced upon by some charlatans and desecrated in its use for fraudulent purposes. 39. The star that burns overhead is the star of initiation. The caste mark of Saivas, or devotees of the sect of Siva, the great patron of all yogins, is a black round spot, the symbol of the sun, now perhaps, but that of the star of initiation in occultism in days of old. 40. The basis, ubadi, of the ever unreachable flame, so long as the ascetic is still in this life. 41. Dhyana is the last stage before the final on this earth, unless one becomes a full Mahatma. As said already, in this state, the Raj Yogi is yet spiritually conscious of self and the working of his higher principles. One step more, and he will be on the plane beyond the 7th, or 4th, according to some schools. These after the practice of pratyahara, a preliminary training, in order to control one's mind and thoughts. Count dhyana, dhyana, and samadhi, and embraces the 3 under the generic name of sanyama. 42. Samadhi is the state in which the ascetic loses the consciousness of every individuality, including his own. He becomes the all. 43. The 4 modes of truth are, in Northern Buddhism, ku, suffering or misery, tu, the assembling of temptations, mu, their destructions, and Tao, the path. The 5 impediments are the knowledge of misery, truth about human frailty, oppressive restraints, and the absolute necessity of separation from all the ties of passion and even of desires. The path of salvation is the last one. 44. At the portal of the assembling, the king of the Maras, the Mahamara, stands trying to blind the candidate by the radiance of his jewel. 45. This is the 4th path, out of the 5 paths of rebirth, which lead and toss all human beings into perpetual states of sorrow and joy. These paths are but subdivisions of the one, The path followed by karma.